You gotta love sports. Bam! With the Dodgers down 5-2 in the 8th, on the brink of going down 0-3 in the NLCS, Belly delivered an absolute bomb to tie the game. Wow. And my guy was pumped. Look at that spin going around the bases like he was floating on air. And rightly so. I was so happy for Bellinger hitting that prodigious blast. He tattooed it out of the ballpark. And Bellinger, you see the numbers right here? Literally didn't hit his weight this season. But as we've been talking about every night on Time to Shine, the former MVP has been locked in this postseason, and that was the ultimate pulsating moment to save the season. That was awesome. And of course, leave it to Mookie Betts to make it stick. Chris Taylor walked, stole second, and Mookie Betts capped off the incredible 8th by putting the Dodgers ahead following the belly bomb. Of course, Mookie Betts came through. Of course, he sliced it into the gap. Kenley Jansen mowed down Atlanta 1-2-3, striking out all three batters in the 9th. And Atlanta starting an opener tonight. The Dodgers have the grade. Julio Urias on the mound. Now, I never would have pitched Urias in Game 2 in relief, and that's all a domino effect of the opener that they used foolishly Game 5 in the prior series against San Francisco. But this is a clear Dodgers advantage. LA is loaded, and thanks to their two former MVPs in Bellinger and Betts, they're going to win tonight, they're going to win this series, and the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. I believe in Russ. I love the Lakers this year. The Russ debut last night was dreadful. All can be true. And if you're looking for some kind of hot take on the Lakers losing last night and Russ's dreadful shooting nights, his first game as a Laker, look, you've come to the wrong place. I love this trade. I love this team. And as LeBron James said, and Frank Vogel said post-game, there's going to be a learning curve. And I love what LeBron said about, of course, Westbrook had the jitters. He grew up in LA, rooting for the Lakers. Plus, Russ is used to having the ball in his hands. He's going to play a lot off the ball since he's now teamed with James. My worry level on a scale of 1 to 10 is 0. Now, the result and the ebb and the flow last night, surprising. Anthony Davis, great. LeBron, vintage. Lakers are on fire. Steph Curry couldn't make shots, and the Warriors still found a way to win. That was wild. Now, it's one thing if Steph lights up the scoreboard. He had 21 points and made just 5 shots at just 2 from downtown. It was Jordan Poole delivering the splash plays late. Everything at the end of the day with the Lakers will be and should be magnified. And why not? It's a team filled with future Hall of Famers. It's the Lakers. It's Los Angeles. It's LeBron. I get it. But take a breath. Remember AD's debut and LeBron's first game? Think about it. Take a breath. Russ is going to be great. The Lakers are going to win a championship. And Lamar Jackson is absolutely amazing. It's like the great Taylor Swift once said, the haters are going to hate. Hate, hate. Hate, hate. And it's just sad and flat out wrong. Lamar Jackson is playing the best football of his career, and that says something considering he's already won an NFL MVP. You'll watch him play this season, the feel is amazing. The nuggets of domination and jubilation are even better. Where he ranks in terms of a passer and a runner, I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. Look at where he ranks running the football. I mean, this is crazy. It's wild. It's Lamar Jackson. And Jackson told me a few weeks ago on my SiriusXM radio show how much he's worked on his deep passes, and it shows. All Lamar does is win. And when you have the most wins for a quarterback under the age of 25 and you move past Dan Marino on any kind of list, that's amazing. Think about the quality of the teams they beat this year, including the Chiefs and the Chargers. Think about the fact J.K. Dobbins out for the year. Gus Edwards out for the year. Marcus Peters out for the year. Now, the huge news that Pro Bowl tackle Ronnie Stanley, who's barely played this year, he is not walking through that door again this season. Sure, at the end of the day, talking about Lamar Jackson as a great MVP candidate is awesome and deserved. I don't even think that does it justice. Lamar is Superman. And I can't believe those foolish haters even continue to exist. Baker Mayfield out for Thursday Night Football, and Case Keenum is in. Browns made that official today. But look, it's going to be tough sledding for Case Keenum against the Denver Broncos because this injury report, it's like a who's who, okay? No Chubb, no Hunt's running the football. Both tackles are out. Von Miller's already on record saying he's going to, quote, kill whoever's playing tackle. Baker not being there is a big deal. Now, we're talking about a Mayfield who has clearly been hobbled with the bad shoulder, but Baker Mayfield is a better player than Case Keenum. Of course, the irony isn't lost that Case Keenum, when he played in Minnesota in 2017, was sensational for Pat Shurmur, who is now the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos. And Keenum that year replaced Teddy Bridgewater, who was injured. He's now the quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Of course, it's the Broncos and the Browns on Thursday night. Quarterback coach was Kevin Stefanski, who's now the head coach for the Cleveland Browns. The sole reason why Case Keenum is there as the backup. And remember, they paid the premium. It's like home insurance. You're going to pay a lot. You hope you never have to use it. But they paid Case Keenum a boatload of money for him to be the backup to Baker Mayfield. Look, Case Keenum, you heard the soundbite. He oozes moxie and confidence. And remember, this is a guy who went 11-3, completed 67% of his passes that year in Minnesota, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That was an unbelievable year, and it earned him a contract with the Denver Broncos. So there's a lot here. I'll tell you, though, on the flip side, if you're the Denver Broncos, you have to be saying to yourself, win the game. I don't care if it's in Cleveland, and it is, Denver or the moon. Short week, go beat the banged-up Cleveland Browns. It's go time. Obviously, Cleveland has a head coaching advantage, Stefanski as opposed to Vic Fangio, but that Cleveland team is dazed, confused, injured, and Case Keenum, if he's the answer, I'd love to know the question, and I don't see him being successful tomorrow night. Needless to say, Sean McVay and the Rams are going to be prepared for Jared Goff and the Lions on Sunday. And earlier today, Jared Goff talked to the press and said he was appreciative that McVay did in fact apologize. Goff was not happy how it ended and how he didn't say goodbye and how it was leaked. And look, McVay has made the rounds all off season, basically thrilled that he's moved on from Jared Goff. You realize Jared Goff has never won a football game unless Sean McVay was his coach. 0-6 with Dan Campbell. And he never won with Coach Fossil. Never won with Jeff Fisher. And the only coach he had success with was obviously Sean McVay. You make that trade, and McVay doesn't have to apologize. 11 out of 10 times. Matthew Stafford is a major upgrade over Jared Goff. It's not even close. And, of course, Stafford's facing his former team. Of course, after the game on Sunday, Dan Campbell threw Jared Goff under the bus. So Jared Goff's esteem is definitely in the tank, in the toilet. And I think the Rams and Matthew Stafford are going to fly high. And Stafford is going to remind the Lions and their fans what they've been missing. I feel bad for Jared Goff, but he was a double agent at the end in Los Angeles. It just wasn't that good. Thrilled to be joined by CBS Sports NFL analyst, our good friend, the great Amy Trask. And Amy, the Cardinals improved to 6-0 for the first time in nearly 50 years on Sunday. Do you believe Kyler Murray and Arizona can keep it up?
Well, Adam, at the beginning of the season, I noted that I thought the NFC West was going to be a very exciting division and up for grabs. But I did not note, because I did not believe, that Arizona would be atop the division and at 6-0 at this point. And yet, fourth in the league in terms of scoring. The defense is tied for second in the league in points given up per game, third in the league in takeaways. And oh, by the way, last week, Arizona won without their head coach and play caller, without their quarterback coach, and without Rodney Hudson, of whom Kyler Murray had said makes a big difference. So we have to take them seriously. We should take them seriously. They're an exciting team to watch. Oh, and if I may, Adam, may I offer you a quote?
Give it to me.
I found this interesting. Before the season, Steve Keim said, My expectations are certainly to go to the playoffs. And he went on to add that he believes they, and I think by they he meant he, built a team capable of those goals. Last season, they lost 5 of their final 7, and they ended up 8-8. So he added that he doesn't think his win now expectations increase the pressure on the team. Now, when I read that quote before the season, I thought, oh, yes, they do increase pressure on the team. But you know what? Whether they've helped the team by increasing pressure or whether the team is simply responding well to that pressure, or most likely both, that quote keeps coming to mind.
I think it's a great quote and a great job by you referencing it. And I love the quote when he said it because, you know, the NFC West, to your brilliant point, is loaded. But the Arizona Cardinals thought they had a playoff team last year. It didn't happen. All right, we expect to make the playoffs. We expect to do damage. And to your points on the stats and the feel, there's a well-rounded team. They've dealt with adversity. I am with you completely. I am buying the Arizona Cardinals. Amy, do you get the sense Aaron Rodgers enjoying this season more than ever, given everything that happened this offseason?
I don't know if he is. It certainly wouldn't surprise me if he is. And we love, and maybe I shouldn't project and say we, I love an Aaron Rodgers with an extra chip on his shoulder. I love an Aaron Rodgers with a little bit of extra edge. And whether you like that as fans or not, and some do and some don't, and some were critical of what went on this offseason, some were not, enjoy this. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know if Aaron will be with Green Bay next year. So Green Bay fans, enjoy this.
Very well said. And you know me, I supported Rodgers this offseason. I support Rodgers now. I love what he said to the Bears fans. And there's something about a salty Aaron Rodgers. We're on the same page. Matthew Stafford is going to face his old team. Salty is the perfect word, right? And I'm sure Matthew Stafford's going to be a little salty when he faces his old team, the Detroit Lions, on Sunday. Look, it obviously, quote-unquote, ended well, but look, you were in the league forever, Amy. How does a player keep their emotions in check? Or maybe I should phrase it, does a player or a coach keep their emotions in check for a revenge game like this?
Well, first of all, my apologies for interrupting you when you said salty, but it was a terrific word with respect to Aaron. And the reason I again note that is it's a terrific word that you just used with respect to players who are traded, players who are released and signed elsewhere, players who are cut and signed elsewhere. And the answer is, it was my experience that different players handle these things very differently than others. But one consistency I saw, and I can't tell you it was 100% of the time, but it sure was the case in the overwhelming percentage of times. It matters to players. Some people call them revenge games. Others have other words for them. Players routinely deny that the game has special meaning. I can't tell you how many times over the course of my career I listened to a player say, oh, no special meaning. I'm just focused on the game. It's next game up. I'm not even thinking about the fact that they cut me, released me, or traded me. And then we would get off that public moment and the player would let loose. For most players, I won't say 100%, but it's pretty darn close. There is special meaning to a game like this. Some handle it better than others. I think, look, we're going to see. I think Stafford will handle it well.
I agree with every word you just said. And Amy, it feels like it was just yesterday on Time to Shine. The two of us were questioning Joe Judge's proclamation. The Giants were just going to stay on track. Well, this week, right after the team got steamrolled by the Rams, he vowed things will get better. I mean, I don't know. For me, Joe Judge is akin to white noise. What's your reaction to Joe Judge?
Well, you're very gracious and diplomatic to say that you and I were questioning it. You were questioning it. I was rough on Joe Judge. I think what I said was, dude, what track are you on? You say, like, you want to stay on track, but what the heck kind of track is this? So, Adam, I've made a flashcard because since I was so rough on Joe Judge, I've decided to help him out because things could be worse. They've won one game. Could be 0. That would be worse. The defense is tied for third worst in the league, giving up almost 30 points per game. I guess they could be giving up 35. They could be worse, not tied for third. The defense is also tied for fifth worst with a measly number of sacks, and I mean measly. The offense is scoring less than 20 points per game, but again, could be worse. They could be scoring less than 10 and be even worse. And they are sixth worst in the league in turnovers. So there you go. There's 5 teams worse than the Giants in terms of turnovers. So yes, I was rough on Judge when I said, dude, what track you on? But there you go. The team could be worse than it is.
The Giants are offensive to the senses.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.